Now, Nehawu will embark on strike action at the National Students Financial Aid Scheme. This after the union had failed to reach an agreement with the employer over wages. Well, Nehawu members are demanding an 8% increment, but NSFAS is pleading poverty. So, for more on this story, we're now joined by Nehawu spokesperson, that's Khaya Xaba. Khaya, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. I understand that there seemed to be, a deadlock in an agreement, or at least in conversation with NSFAS. Where did you seem to not meet one another?
Well, the negotiations started on the 12th of June, and they deadlocked on the 10th of September. And we believe that we give negotiations a fair chance in order to resolve the impasse. But nothing has brought us closer together with management. When we started the negotiations, we were at 13%, and the employer was at 4.3%. And over time, we downgraded our demand to 8%. Then the employer, of course, downgraded their offer as well to 0%. So we believe that the only way in order to resolve the impasse is to go on strike, and that is what exactly we're doing now, to try and force the employer to give us the 8%, which we believe that workers do deserve. And we don't really believe that the employer does not have the money to fund these increases, because they claim that they do not have money, because most of the money would have been the money that would have got through COVID. But we know for a fact that they did get their allocation even when we were on lockdown. So for them to say that they don't have money, we think that they are lying to workers and an insult to workers who've been working very hard to ensure that the poor of the poorest student in the country, or those who are academically deserving, get funding for their studies. So we believe then that going on strike will twist the arm of the employer to accede to our demands.
Now, let's talk more about the strike action then. It's taking place today. What details can you give us in terms of where you are striking and what are some of the demands you're tabling, besides the 8% which you refuse to move from as your increment?
Well, the strike started yesterday on the 5th of October, and of course today is the second day of the strike, and of course the leadership then will join the striking workers in order to give them morale, but also to ensure that the strike is kept going, because the strike will run indefinitely up until all our demands are met. But on top of the 8% salary increase that we were demanding, we're also demanding, firstly, a process that will lead to the termination of the contract of the administrator, because we believe that the term of the administrator has come and passed, and we believe that it's time that he packs his bags and go. But over and above that, the institution has been functioning without a proper board. So then there must be a process that must lead into that. But over and above that, of course, there's other issues that which includes the issue of provident fund, because the current service provider for the provident fund is not doing a good job, because workers' monies are not growing. So they need to then move to a service provider that will ensure that the monies of workers grow. But over and above that, there's other issues, including a defunct human resource system and outdated policies, a proper system to disperse funds to students. Those are some of the issues that we believe that must be put in place in order for NSFAS to function optimally, because we believe it should play its role to be a vehicle to ensure that students get funding. So those are the issues that we are putting forward in this strike that we're currently in.
Well, just summarizing some of your demands there, Mr. Xaba, you're saying that the termination of the administrator's contract, you're mentioning issues around the Provident Fund, defunct HR system, you say, but also outdated policies, according to you as Nehawu. I mean, an indefinite strike sounds like a long time. Should your demands still not be met, are there other strategies that you are considering, any other action you're considering taking to further intensify your demands being considered by NSFAS?
Look, in terms of the bargaining issues, we believe that workers are highly motivated to continue the fight as and when they are needed to. So we do have the the zest to continue indefinitely. So we'll continue up until we get the 8% because we believe that workers are deserving of that 8%. But in terms of other issues, like the issue of maladministration, the issue of corruption, we are to present our evidence to the portfolio committee, because we believe that we do have evidence that will assist in shaping or putting the institution in the right track. Because in recent times, the institution has been plagued by issues of corruption and maladministration. For instance, the issue of the laptops that was to be given to students during the hard lockdown. We know that there's been corruption in that. The issue of money that has been spent on pursuing cases against our members, and that's relates, of course, to union bashing. So those are things that we're putting together in order to ensure that we fix the institution, because we believe that it's a very important institution in the country. So we're using those avenues as well. Of course, there's engagements with the minister as well. If you know, we did meet the minister on Friday, and another meeting will take place in this coming Friday in order to ensure that these issues find the audience that they deserve. Because, like I've said, once again, we believe that these issues should be addressed, because it deals with students who want to access higher education.
Thank you so much. Mr. Xaba, thank you so much for your time. Nehawu spokesperson Khaya Xaba.